What they're keeping from you is this. A 37-second recording slipped out of a high-security briefing room inside the vice president's residence. The voice on that recording belongs to JD Vance, a man known for staying controlled in front of cameras, and this time he absolutely snaps. And when you hear what he says about Judge Caldwell, you'll understand why people inside the administration are using a word they've avoided until now. War. Not symbolism. Not campaign drama. A real constitutional collision. Because what Judge Caldwell just did, throwing witness 14 into jail with no explanation, locking the entire case behind sealed doors, and daring the White House to respond, shattered the unwritten rules separating government branches. Vance learned about it instantly. And his reaction. It's now the most downloaded political audio clip across 3 continents. So what pushed the vice president over the edge? Call. One ruling. One judge who believed there would be no resistance. Judge Caldwell ordered the immediate detention of witness 14, a cooperating source in one of the most sensitive immigration cases in years. No advance notice. No hearing. No public justification. But this wasn't impulsive. This was the final move in a long judicial standoff. And Vance recognized it immediately. Here's what truly happened. The moment a courtroom dispute became a constitutional firestorm. Tuesday morning. Federal courthouse. Witness 14 entered under U.S. Marshal escort, operating directly under Justice Department protection. He appeared prepared, shoulders straight, eyes focused, the look of someone who had already accepted the consequences of speaking out. Observers described him as calm, almost relieved. The plan was simple. Testimony, questions, official record. Then Judge Caldwell entered. He didn't sit. He stood. He arranged 2 papers on the bench and declared that due to unspecified national security risks, witness 14 would be held in custody until further evaluation. Silence filled the room. This witness is detained until the court determines whether his testimony threatens classified matters, Caldwell stated. Marshals, take him. The government attorney immediately objected. Your Honor, this witness is protected under federal. Sit down, Caldwell snapped. This court outranks your agency's preferences. That single word, preferences, detonated everything. Federal witness protection isn't optional. It's statutory law. Yet Caldwell brushed it aside in real time, on recorded courtroom audio. Witness 14 was let out a side exit. No chance for argument. No explanation of what secrets he supposedly endangered. 3 minutes. That's all it took. But here's the part no one expected. The court stenographer never stopped recording. Every pause. Every word. Every dismissive tone. And within hours, that audio reached people who knew its power. Call 1, DOJ leadership. Call 2, White House staff. Call 3, JD Vance's encrypted phone. That's when the atmosphere shifted. The administration had been trying to manage Caldwell through formal appeals and procedural challenges. But this move destroyed that approach. You don't imprison a protected witness. You don't silence someone about to testify on possible coordination between judicial officials and activist organizations. And you don't hide behind national security authority you don't legally control. Vance played the recording 3 times. According to someone present, he said nothing the first 2 rounds. Halfway through the third, he stopped the audio at the word preferences and looked at his chief legal advisor. That's it, he said. That's where it crossed the line. What followed in the next 37 seconds has ignited Washington. Because Vance didn't issue a cautious statement. He didn't suggest negotiation. He went somewhere no one anticipated. And someone recorded him. 2 separate sources confirmed the audio contains the vice president speaking about a sitting federal judge in language that would have been unimaginable months ago. Unacceptable. Maybe. But was it wrong? Legal analysts argue Caldwell's action may be the most aggressive judicial strike against executive authority since the 19th century. And Vance reacted the way someone does after watching courts steadily expand power while elected leadership shrinks. He declared conflict. If you're thinking, Why isn't anyone else reporting this? Hit subscribe because what that recording reveals no one else has. But not everyone agrees with Vance. Civil rights organizations are calling this the most dangerous executive escalation in modern history. Their argument is direct. Judges exist to restrain government power. That's the Constitution's design. When political leaders attack judges, they aren't defending democracy, they're dismantling it. One advocacy director said, "This was a classified case. The judge had access to information the public doesn't." The vice president's reaction mirrors authoritarian behavior. Online reaction exploded. Some call Vance unstable. Some compare the administration to regimes that jail judges. Some argue witness May 14th have been lawfully detained based on intelligence the public doesn't see. And here's the uncomfortable reality. Judge Caldwell does control his courtroom. He does have discretion over classified matters. Judges order detentions every day. So what makes this different? The executive branch didn't like the outcome. And since when does the White House override judicial decisions? So who's right? 5 seconds passed. Then 10. Vance's restraint began to crack. This judge just locked up a federal witness to block testimony about judges working with outside organizations, he said. He did it on camera and thinks we'll politely file an appeal and wait half a year. A staff member spoke carefully. "Sir, the proper process is." "That's exactly what he's relying on," Vance snapped. He knows by the time an appeal is heard, witness 14 will be useless. This isn't judging anymore. It's not even pretending to be. Silence filled the room. Then came the sentence now circulating everywhere. If Judge Caldwell wants a fight with the executive branch, he's just started one. "I want every option on my desk by Friday. Legal paths, enforcement powers, all of it." Someone tried to warn him about separation of powers. Vance cut them off. Checks and balances run both ways. He stripped a protected witness of his constitutional rights. Now he finds out what happens when the executive branch stops asking nicely. 37 seconds. That was all it took to turn a dispute into open confrontation between a vice president and a sitting federal judge. But while everyone focused on Vance's rage, they missed something else. Listen again to the final 5 seconds of the recording. A background voice, still unidentified, says 3 words. "The list worked." What list? Worked how? Because that single phrase suggests witness 14's detention was not just one judge acting alone. It implies coordination, and someone just admitted it. This wasn't emotional. It was Vance realizing a suspicion had just been proven true. Stay with me because what that voice means changes the entire story. Drop a comment. Who do you think said the list worked? When I traced the source of that audio, what I found was chilling. People who study constitutional conflicts for a living are calling this the biggest clash between branches of government since Watergate. One former federal prosecutor put it like this: "This isn't a legal disagreement anymore. It's a battle over legitimacy. Each side believes the other has crossed such a line that normal rules no longer apply. When that happens, there's no referee. There's only power. In plain terms, we've entered territory where the Constitution gives no clear roadmap. Both sides can quote precedent. Both sides claim they are defending democracy. And both are prepared to escalate. Behind closed doors, constitutional experts are saying the administration may use enforcement tools that haven't been touched since the 1950s. Judge Caldwell knows that. He's gambling they won't dare use them. If he's wrong, we could see U.S. Marshals confronting court officials. No one wants to say that out loud, but that's the direction this leads. Even some of Vance's critics admit something uncomfortable. "I think the vice president's language is reckless. But I also can't defend what the judge did. You don't jail a federal witness to prevent testimony. That crosses judicial norms. So far I understand why the reaction is explosive. This isn't about immigration anymore. It's not even about witness 14 anymore. It's about who decides what happens when courts and the executive branch fundamentally disagree on the meaning of the law. That question has been sitting under American politics for decades. Now it's out in the open. No one knows how it ends. If this analysis is making sense to you, hit like. Because understanding what's really happening, beyond headlines and party spin, is the only way to see where this is going. And where it's going is something the country has never faced before.